All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. I will say this is a lovely Sabbath early morning in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. You know, I want to just talk a little bit this morning. I want to talk about several things, and one of them was a few days ago when I went over to my mom's house to do her hair, and we talked about many things, and we got on the topic of the Word, the Bible, and what things are said. But when we were done, she walked me to the car, and there was a beautiful tree, and about, say, 8 feet from, not even 8, not even 8, tree, and then there was a black pole, light pole, and it was a real tall black light pole, and the tree was pretty tall too. And I turned to my mom, and I said, Mom, you see this tree? This tree is like the tree of life. You see the greenery, how beautiful it is. And then you see this black pole? This black pole is, we're going to say it is, just what I told her, we're going to say that it is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But over here, Mama, is the tree of life. What is in this tree of life? It's a tree, but what's in it? Life. When you go over here, this is a tree, but it is a tree of what? The knowledge of what? Good and evil. Okay? So you got good and evil here. And you got the tree of life here. There are people who have lived throughout times. Some have been in church since they were little children, and now they are in their elderly years. There are some who have practiced or studied the Bible. There are some who say that they are scholars and so-called learned men and women. There are people who are leading and guiding in all type of administrative position, the mass or the multitude. But this is something I'm going to say that I know 99.9 never heard. As I was given this example of this tree is the life, and this one over on this side is good and evil. And the top of the tree is saying it holds the knowledge of good and evil. What a lot of people don't understand is, and my mom did not, because she said, I don't think anyone ever thought of it like that or ever understood it that way. No one never had that mark, I said question mark, going around their head. Wait a minute. I noticed evil has good detached to it. You see? Evil has good detached to it. The reason why evil have good detached to it is because it uses good to trap. Evil use good to trap many. That's why it's side by side with each other in the same one tree. Because it wants you to think that these things are good so that it can trap you into what? Evil. Let's set an example. Somebody might be in a party and someone said, well, try this here. This is good. Try it. Everybody's here drinking. Everybody, just try it. That one drink can be a life of drinking until you're an alcoholic. That one smoke. Oh, look, one time won't hurt. That one time could be a life of addiction. That's how evil works. The Father never hid anything really from us. It was ever present before us. But because we never focused on what he was doing in Genesis 1 and 2, we forsake the perfect time period and we decide to take the time period in which sin had hit the earth. And we ran with it. So I was explaining to my mom, have you ever thought in this tree it was said that it holds life? In this tree, it says it holds good and evil, evil and good, meaning they're there together to work this mission out that's in this tree here. Now, we know that it wasn't really what you call a tree, okay? Neither nor was the tree of life, but that was, in a sense, I don't even know if I could even call it. It wasn't even a parable. It was the truth of the whole matter of how the Most High had created a difference between life and good and evil, evil and good. Okay? Letting you know. Why wasn't good? This is what I said to Mama. Why didn't he have life and good over here? If good is good, as we know it. But we never understood that good basically go hand in hand with evil. Because that's the only way evil can be evil. It has to represent good to get you to do evil. And once he gets you into this good, then he got you. Because all his whole idea is to want you to think that this is good. And once you think, and just as Adam and Eve, he just said it and they believed it. It didn't even take very much. And that's how it is. You step into good. They thought that this maybe was a good thing. Bam, I got him. So it's the way you go into what you call good that you can get trapped. This flower that goes like this here, it opens up like it's okay. But the moment you go down into it, it traps you like this. It starts to close. It don't appear to be anything, but once you get in it, it got you. Well, that's how evil is. It'll put a beautiful flower there. It'll put a beautiful woman with ways that you think that, hey, this is it. This is the wife. Or a beautiful way that you see a man, and this could be my husband, a beautiful way. But the moment you get into it, then you begin to see all the things which is evil therein. So this is another reason why we're not to really go after what the eye can see and desire, or the lust of our hearts can see and desire, because this is another form of evil using good in our mindset to trap us in evil. Okay? And a lot of you all don't understand, this type of evil is really hard to come out of. You got to think now, this is what trapped Adam and Eve into this evil, and they were sold over to it the rest of their lives. You see? So it's something that you got to really think about when you going out and you seeking a wife, or a wife wanting to accept a proposal from a man. You got to know this individual. If you take out time to really get to know the individual before you say I do, you might see some characteristics of how good can play itself to be good, but you can see the signs of evil on down the road. A lot of people figure when, okay, I can change that individual, or I can make this right, I can make this right, I can make this person change, or I can get this person to want to do things different than what I see that individual doing. You can't, because it's already branded in them to do what they are going to do and how they're going to do it. Because a lot of times people don't understand you're getting what you know not of. And that's why it pays to not say I do out of a desperate need of saying, okay, I'm going to say I do, or I'm going to find this wife and say, and get married, to say I'm married, or I have a wife, or to say I have a husband, I'm married. It's really a dangerous thing, especially in this day and time. Okay. So what I was showing my mom was, have you ever gave it a thought, Mom, how he created life over here for eternal life? And over here, it was the knowledge of recognizing good and evil. And I say, even though they did not even grip the ideal of good and evil, Adam and Eve never gripped the ideal of good and evil. And the people today, like also, they don't see that good and evil is standing side by side. So a lot of times when you're going into things thinking this is a good deal, this is a good loan, or this is a good situation, what is happening, people are looking with their natural eyes at what the desire of their hearts want. And they walking into something that appear to be good, even buying a car, buying a house, buying land, or buying anything. Okay, you go in it thinking, okay, this is good, because you see yourself gaining something. But you be very cautious to know that you're not really gaining anything. You have, because you're buying it off the top of what your eyes see and your heart desire, and not understanding that there's a part in you, if you just turn it over to the Father and ask him, what do you think? What shall I do? What should I do? See, that's the part people don't want to turn to, because a lot of times that's the part of what rests in them that will say, no, I don't think. But they're not going to listen to that when their minds and their eyes sees what they want. They see this certain car. They looking at it. All they see is themselves getting it and driving it. They ain't seeing what's going on down the line, that they're not gonna be able to afford it. But the reason why is because people, once they gain something in their hands, okay, they assume that they could afford it, or they could purchase it, and because it's all good, it's good in my hand, and I can afford it, which is good. But you know what? Good is always not good enough, because we don't understand that in Yah, good is not enough, because he already know that when he suffered Satan to even come down, Satan was able, by the will of the Father, to use good as his tool You see, look what he was offering Jesus, as the world calls Yeshua, on the mountain. He was always offering him something, letting him know he had something better for him if he would just do the things that I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? He has something better. And that's how even this whole platform is created, like the devil's platform. It has been created to make one think that it is good. It has something good for you. And because people are addicted to the platforms without owning the fact that they are, then therefore that make it easier for Satan to suffer individual to get very addicted to these platforms. And now you thinking, since, I'm not drinking, I'm not drugging, or I'm not addicted to porno or lust. I'm not addicted to all those things just because I'm addicted to YouTube or these platforms. That's not bad. Oh, yes, it is. It's still as worse because Satan has a stronghold on you in a way that's very easy, because it's what people say on the platform can cause you to be so addicted to their truth to where you lose truth. You see? You lose the whole idea that if I'm going to represent the Most High Yah, how must I represent him? If I'm on his side, am I on the side of righteous? 99.9. I can tell you, you're not. Because you're not willing to step in anything that's righteous. Especially if it makes you uncomfortable about your unrighteousness. You're not going to step over in that which is righteous if it makes your unrighteousness uncomfortable. And this is why you see many flocking to pages that makes them feel comfortable in their unrighteousness. Because to go to a page where someone is speaking spirit and truth and the light, where righteousness rests therein, which is the tree of life, that what? Leads to the narrow gate that holds what? The tree of life. Their whole idea of unrighteousness is upheld higher in all their standards over righteousness. And this is why they go to and fro, here and here, all around the place, trying to find comfort. Because they don't want to go in the area of where spirit and truth is being spoken. The light is being revealed unto them. Because that is the tree that leads to life. And that's why, from the beginning, man and woman chose the tree of good and evil over life. So even when you look at today and where we're at with all this technology and all this so-called history and all this, how would I say, revelation, everything, and it just is blooming right before us. But no one sees it as righteous or light that's connected to spirit and truth. They apply it to the part of them that makes them feel so comfortable, which is unrighteous. And that's the how would I say it? That's the pages that draws them. It's the one that makes them feel good in the messages and the whole overall of what is unrighteous, calling it what? Righteous. One thing about the narrow gate is it's not going to beg. It's not going to drill, or it's not going to hammer or force or make anyone come into it. Why? Because all that goes through and head to and walk with and through and in the direction of the narrow gate that leads to life, they have been appointed, predestined, marked, ordained, and foreknew and sealed to go into that narrow gate. That's why he was prophesying, very few that I have given that ability to go therein. So when you're chasing the mass, you see the numbers. That means you connect yourself to those numbers and you are lost through the broad gate. And people never thought of it like that. Just as seeing the tree of life, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Why was not good connected to the tree of life? Because wouldn't that be a good thing? Why didn't Yah connect good with the tree of life? Why was good a helping hand to evil? Because that's how it got each and every last one of you to follow them. Is to give a good message to the flesh of man so that it may follow the evil of Satan. See, and that's how it's easy for him. That's easier for him to, how would I say, embrace those who are joining him, is to put something that and make something good. Like these devil platforms, I call them out. They are the devil platform. How do you know that? Why do you say that each and every time? Because I'm showing you without a doubt, and I've been here almost going on 5 years. Without a doubt, I have no reason to give you the tree of knowledge of good and evil to make you come to my page to hear me, to hear spirit and truth, to know where the light is at. Because you're not going to find the light. You're not going to know the spirit and truth. Why? Only a higher has branded his to grip this through his spirit that rests therein. You see? So everything when we thinking that, okay, I'm going to choose because this is my choice, this, baby, the choice was made in heaven before the foundation of the world. The books always were in the library of the heaven. The books were already always in the library of heaven. You got the book of life and you got the books with an S. Been there. So even when we sit back and we teach you, or we speak to you, or we bring information to you, that's where you know already who's who and what's what. Why is it that many can't distinguish those who are walking in the light and speaking spirit and truth? Because they are not the light. They are not spirit and truth. They are not branded to be able to identify. That's why he said, and very few, Deborah, shall find therein. Because it's not going to be the way Sister Deborah say that it is. It's going to be the way he has already orchestrated it to be from the heavenly level. And when you really worship him in spirit and truth and in the light of righteousness, you don't tell people what they want to hear. You speak what the Spirit has spoken unto you throughout your time and even day by day as he speaks unto you. Because he knows he wants you to speak to certain wants. And he let those who speaks to the world, let them speak to the world. And they don't even know that they're speaking to the world. Because what? Because they've been speaking so long and the world loves its own. You see? And they haven't detached the fact that, wait a minute, broad is the gate, narrow is the way. Wait a minute. That's a light right there in itself. That's a light right there. It's already revealing to you. Wherever you go into any location, you go into traffic. I've learned it through traffic. I've learned it through going into malls. I've learned it through going into stores. I learned it throughout going to government buildings. I have learned the narrow way in my everyday life. And I have seen it in the natural to be proven that the narrow gate is the way. Because see, once the Father has suffered you to have spirit and truth and the light that rests therein to show you the way to the narrow gate, you begin to understand. So this way is to the narrow gate, to the tree of life. And in the process of it, he'll show you in the natural how sincere and how real the narrow gate is in the natural as well as the spiritual. I've seen it, you guys. I've done it all the time. And yes, the narrow gate is the way that very few will desire or head therein. It would always be the gate that leads to destruction, to error, and to all the things of the world and of the wicked and evil of the tree of good and evil. And when they get addicted to that, that's their way. And no one could tell them anything different. So the example to my mother was, did you ever give it a thought why the tree of life rests in the midst of the garden itself? And good was given to rest in the same tree, and the same tree, and the same tree with evil. Good was standing near it and with it. So see, those are the two. My mother said she's 86, going on 87. She has never heard of that. But it's so true. If you look at it, you can see exactly how easy Yah has made it to be for us to see. Why is it we refuse to go into the narrow gate? It's because it's not where the multitude is following. People think if I get more, let's use chicken. If the chicken is bloated, I like it. It's more. No. It's chemicals that they're putting in the chicken to breed it and also shooting other chemicals to blow it up. So this is what you're getting. You're seeing a chicken. You love chicken. Let's do pie pies. They were selling a chicken sandwich. Do you understand the chicken sandwich was being sold, and you all did not know this, at this place called Pie Pies? It's because they know what melanated people, Negroes, love to eat chicken. So they got so many ways in this world to easily destroy a people easily at a blink of an eye. And we would never exist. But because the grace and the mercy of the Most High God, they are not given that. But as I look at it as it was spoken, I tend to try to grip the parts that causes Sister Deborah to endure and the long suffering. See, a lot of people think the long suffering is the things of the body. No, baby, it's the long suffering of the spirit. That's why it's a spirit of long suffering. It is a spirit of endurance because you're enduring something in the spirit realm. It's not in the flesh, you guys. I know a lot of people think sickness and going through because this happening in your family, that's endurance. That's not endurance. That's not endurance. Endurance is only that which is in the spirit that has been given to you to run the race and suffer while you're running. Let's take for an example. The world calls him Jesus, but let's say Yeshua. His whole mission from the time he was born to the time he was crucified, his whole mission, he said not a word. A lot of you all never will, ever. Now, I ain't gonna never you will. You still never can come to the understanding, the long suffering and the endurance that Yah put upon him to help him complete the mission. Even when he got in Gethsemane, he felt that thing. When he got up on that cross, he felt that thing. But because the spirit of suffering and endurance, the spirit of endurance, he was able to complete that mission in which Yah has missioned him to. Well, that is also with Sister Deborah. Endurance, you're going to need it because of what you're going to see, what you're going to know. I'm gonna seal it. What you're going to see, you're going to know, you're going to understand. You're going to have the spiritual wisdom and the spiritual knowledge of what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and what you're understanding. Guess what he's saying? You're going to need endurance, an endurance spirit, and a long-suffering spirit. Because these things is saying you're going to know righteous in the midst of a multitude of the world of unrighteous. But you can't, what did he take? What do he come? When he come to me, let me show y'all something. I have said so many times how he come to me and he comfort me. This is how he comfort me. When he be saying, Deborah, it's okay. Let it be. When he said, Deborah, this need be. It's okay. When he said, Deborah, get in your lane. It's okay. He's telling me, take on. Remember, you got the tools to endure and the long-suffering spirit with you. You're going to be okay. And then what happened? The comforter has to come to ensure me you got the tools to hold on. Why? Because you're speaking righteousness in its fullness. When there's so much darkness that goes against the righteousness in which you speak. In a sense, you're fighting a losing battle. But listen to this. This is exactly what it sums up to. You're fighting a losing battle. But you knew that the fight was worth it. Why? Because you knew that before the foundation of the world, that's why he had to teach you at a young age. That's why he taught you that before he taught you this book. He had to teach me before he taught me this book. He had to teach me that heaven had it keyed up and heaven had it keyed down. And until you receive the key to enter therein, you still walking out here like a clown with no key. This is the keys that Peter was ushered. This is the keys that Yeshua, which the world calls Jesus, had. See, the keys is just not given. It is assigned to those that heaven has assigned them to. That's a part of the tools that he gives one to walk this earth. So a lot of times people might even think, okay, whatever. The closest they're going to get to anything of Yah on the earth is those servants he put here for his purpose and his will. And that's a place that the unrighteousness don't want to enter. They want to rest in the unrighteous walk, talk, wisdom, knowledge, flesh, understanding, feelings, emotions. It's wisdom, it's knowledge, and it's understanding of the flesh before they jump in to the spirit and truth of the all matters, where the light will show you the way through all that darkness. Praise the mighty Yah. So the question again was to Mom. Why did the Most High allow good to stand hand in hand with evil? Because the Most High is wider and bigger and better than good itself. So he didn't need good. He's bigger than that. Good couldn't stand alone with Yah because he's better than that. Good is not even a word that can even be put in his midst because he's better than that. So he allowed it that Satan may use it to do his due. And this is why you see people on devil platforms debating their cause, their reason. You see people cursing and you see them you see them as an example of the world, but standing on a pulpit preaching to, no, but yeah, that's true. They're preaching to dead people in the world. So if they can come up and be one that still talk like they talked in the world, act and do everything they do in the world, then therefore they have brought and have revealed that the world is with them and in them and is out to conquer everyone else to fall under their worldly lifestyle, calling it the will or the righteous will of God. When Sister Deborah can plainly see the difference. So do you think that it is your righteousness that y'all not have those that he have, which is a what? Pen needle. Few that represents him. That tells the world you're still walking in darkness when you finish. It doesn't matter how many places you go on these platforms or how many places you go in reality. It doesn't matter. It's who you are in the inside to where you go to these places. Who are you on the inside? That's there already. See, a lot of people don't even understand. They think it's something really big if I get to the kingdom and I have to be judged. Baby, you already been judged. That's how the books is in the library in the heaven. You got the book of life and you got the other books that's going to be open, that's going to have the multitude in it that follow the broad gate. They're going to be in those books that shows you it's going to be many. The Lamb Book of Life is one. Because we all are one in him. It don't have to be with an S. But the books are the books that go, those who are listed to go already to the lake of fire. With who? The false prophet, the Antichrist, and Satan himself. This is were the books. These things like this leads me to understand many things. Satan could have turned his power over to the Roman Catholics, but no power can match or even come near the power that has already orchestrated who's who and what's what in the heavens. And that being so, to say that is to say this is how people have really missed it. They have dropped the ball to the power itself. Because to not put the power with the word and the word with the Father, let me tell you, you're lost. You are lost. Your destiny is already assigned. And it's really, and people who think that if I follow the multitude, truly the multitude couldn't be going in the wrong direction. That's also showing you in the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It shows you good of many people going into this area. Truly, all of these people can't be going in the wrong direction. See? It's a sad thing, but it is what it is. So that was the example I gave my mom. I thought was really, really something, because she was like, ain't nobody ever taught that. I said, I knew it. They're not going to teach that. They're not going to. She said, that is so powerful. And that's what it is. It's when you speak the power. And when you speak the power, guess what? 99.9 would never receive it, because they don't have the light that leads them out of the darkness, nor spirit and truth, which is also the Ruach HaKodesh. He come to teach you spirit and truth. And only he, not a man, not a woman, but he himself. When it is spoken, it's like a two-edged sword. It's going to pierce you from the back to the front, or from the front to the back. It's going to pierce you straight through. And the reason why Sister Deborah told you all that I can know who's who and what's what is the actions, the words, and the discerning spirit. Okay? And something that I have kept away for 60 years is the mind reading. It is a powerful gift to read the minds. It's a powerful gift that comes with great sorrow to know the minds of men. And this is what supports my calling. Listen to what I'm saying. For the Father have given the power to Deborah in the Bible to judge the whole house of Israel, including the tribe of Judah. For her to be able to do that, she had to have had the same anointed gifts that Yah has embedded within me. That Yah has already embedded in me. She had to have had those gifts to make her a prophetess. See, one thing you'll know in the Bible, the prophetess wasn't about a lot of great dreams and great visions. Did Yah send them visions? Yes. Did he deal with them in dreams? Yes. But not to the capacity to where it were to override the gifts to be able to judge the whole house of Israel. Sister Deborah need the gifts in which I have told you that I have. Deborah had those same gifts. What did I tell you? Yah said, I called you out of me as my servant. I appointed you. I anointed you. I predestined you. I foreknew you. Or I ordained you before you was in your mother's womb. Heavens has locked you in and they have locked you out. Meaning I came from heaven, from it, in it, out. So know that. According for me to have you here in a time like no other, I would have to have given you the tools to run this race. So with Deborah, she had to have had those tools to judge the whole house of Israel. And I want to say something to you all. But I know this the true prophetess, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It is impossible to say that to judge the whole house of Israel. Now, the whole house of Israel is different today versus in numbers. Let's say in numbers today versus what Deborah had to deal with. So it was large then, like the sand of the sea and the stars. Now it is not that many. So let's go back to her. She needed every gift that I have sat here and told you all I have had and was given from the Most High and been using it all my life. This is why I can go back and tell you when I used to be in the basement talking to the Father at 4 years old. See, I was a baby. These are tools that was given to me then. So therefore, where I'm at now, I can sit now and what happens with all these gifts and the ability to judge the whole house of Israel and especially the tribe of Judah. I can sit now and do something maybe Deborah was not given. See, Deborah back in the days, she was one that was given the tools that I have. She was given it like unto me like unto her. But because of where she was in a time period when time existed in Yah, and in a time period of where, not a time period of where I am at, where there's no time period, where there's when this lawlessness, do you think that Deborah had to deal with knowing that there's going to be a time or is a time it's lawlessness? No. She had to use all the tools that the Father had given her to judge the whole house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. What tools were those? The same tools that I have. There's a big difference between Deborah and I. I'm in the end days that was like no other. That's worse than the time period of Deborah. You see? And another thing, he had to give me the endurance spirit and the long-suffering spirit, because he knew what period of life he had me to serve in. Versus Deborah, she was in a time period where they came to her and she judged them. She told them this. Now, see, this is what you all didn't understand. Because of the Roman Catholic going in and having the power to take out and remove, it didn't bother the Father that the Roman Catholic can go into the instruction books and direction book and smear it. It didn't move Yah. It didn't move Yah. Why not? Why did not it move the Father that this book being smeared or being written so many times to really what he stands for can't even be described hardly in this book. Why? Because it is already in him. In the heavens. They can't remove that. Heaven and earth can pass away. But the true word rests in the bosom of the Father. You get it? So he ain't coming down here to make the crooked straight. He ain't coming to wipe up the smears for the world. But he is. What? Look, you my servant. Anything that's smeared, I'm going to wipe it up for you while I'm in you. So the difference between Deborah and me, myself, is my journey is worse, harder, endurance, greater endurance and greater suffering than her time period. In her time period, she did not have loudmouth men, muzzle-mouth men, pride and boast men going after her. They came to her for what they knew she was as a servant of Yah. Say, for instance, they came to her not believing who she was, but just come to test her, to see who she was. After a while, they found out that she was who she said she was. Not because she said she was, because they saw that what she said and the things she spoke was coming to pass, and the power that the Father had given her to speak. Even if they didn't trust her, it didn't matter. She was still a servant of the Most High Yah to judge. Do you think that the men back in that day come to her and say, women are supposed to keep quiet? Shut your mouth. You're not supposed to speak. You're not supposed to exalt yourself over us because you are a woman. See, they missed the whole overall of it all. The whole overall of it all. And they get tied up in believing that it is about what they say. Since we here on the earth, we ain't listening to what we keep running our mouth in, which is what? Torah. See, back in the days. See, they run their mouth in what took place in Torah in the old, but they don't want to live and abide by it when it counteracts the way they want to walk, talk, live. When it interferes with their wisdom, their knowledge, and their understanding, they don't have no problem. As long as they are able to do the things that they want in this day and time, they're good. They can hold on, but they will not understand that he had the difference again between the prophetess and the prophets back in the days, and the reason why they came to her is because that's how it was given to her to be the one that sits still, and they are to come to her to be to as judgment, or as giving the ideas of the next steps in which way the Father is directing them, okay? Even to the point when it came down to lives being lost, armies being fought. Why would y'all put that type of servant in a woman to be over the whole house of Israel? Come on now. See, they don't want to go there when it come down to that. Now that was in your Torah. That was in your Bible. They don't want to step in that area. That area is extremely too hard for them to embrace, to accept. They would want to go in the area in which it is more comfortable for them to dip into it when they need it, to make their backs straight up. But when it break their backs, no, this ain't right, this ain't right, and this ain't right. Then you start to hear the parts where they say, oh no, this is not me, that's not what it mean, or the New Testament is not right, and this is not what it mean. See, they want to root it from this day and time. That's the critical time period in which I say unto you, my time period is totally off the chain from Deborah. But when it all said and done, if I say I'm called as a prophetess, I come to judge the whole house of Israel, whether they like it or not. And right now, the judgment of the Most High Yah is on your back and on your front. And you shall be destroyed. So I, Sister Deborah, hope you got something out of it. And I say that I hope you have a wonderful Sabbath day. And I will be back. Shalom and shalom.